I mean, I'm lucky that I found out about surrealism just by chance when Philip Lamontia moved in right next door to me when he came to San Francisco in 1969, I guess it was. So I started staying up all night with him every night and listening to him talk. It was the most. I wish they had cheap tape recorders then. That would have been amazing.
There was no one who could talk better and more intriguingly and more magically than Philip. And he could do it for 8 hours straight.
Right.
One time he telephoned us, and I put the tape recorder on.
Smart.
Well, but I mean, his phone conversation went on for 6 hours.
Right.
So I'm frantically changing the tapes, and I think that I recorded over some of it. I probably have maybe 3 hours of Philip on the telephone. And I think at that time he was fascinated by Egypt and Martinez de Pasquale, I'm not sure, some alchemist or writer devoted to the occult in Egypt. And he just had every fact that you can imagine right up in his head.
Yeah.
And he could just, I'm really sorry that he wasn't tape recorded, because his poems are great, but his conversation was just fantastic.
You know, it was Philip who very early on enlightened me, at least to a limited extent, because I wouldn't claim I'm enlightened, that surrealism was just a complete, total way of life and outlook and much more than a historical art movement. But I know you feel the same way. I'd rather hear this from your mouth than mine.
Surrealism was very interested in having a supportive group, and the group wanted to engage in creative play and support the individual, because an individual in this society who is isolated often succumbs to the ideas that are constantly bombarding you. So surrealists, in playing their own games and doing their collective things, wanted to create their own kind of counterculture, their own culture, their own magical circle in which they could thrive. So, besides this, they wanted to be politically active and an active force in the world and history. Not bystanders or victims, but an active force, engaged. And so I think we attempted to do this, and we still attempt to do it with our writing, and occasionally we do a leaflet. We've gone on demonstrations and been as political as we could possibly be without long sentences. One of the things we did lately was called the Moon Manifesto. The NASA planned to bomb a section of the moon to see if there was water on it, and we denounced this roundly. But part of it is the language, so I can't, it really is a good humorous manifesto, but I can't really duplicate it. But the Beats, too, had their own milieu and formed their own culture, and ultimately it influenced an awful lot of people. For the better, I might add.
Well, I mean, you know, I got a call from Diane DePrima this morning, and she said that when she met you in 2000 in Chicago, when she was teaching at Columbia College, that you'd meet on weekends and have dinner and conversations and do exquisite corpses.
We did. We have a gigantic collection of exquisite corpses and word games that we have done over the years. And we had another game which was a kind of time travel gift-giving game.
Potlatch.
Yeah, Time Traveler's Potlatch. You'd pick a character in history and figure out an oddball gift you'd like to give to them. And so there are books on surrealist games, and they're excellent prod to the imagination. And surrealism is, and the creative energy of people are always being exploited by advertising. I saw an ad a couple of years ago in which a beautiful woman, danced through a white landscape, and her hair was all these branches of twigs, trees, you know, it just looked gorgeous. And I thought, oh, this is some commercial for 60 seconds. This is good, or maybe 30. But then the point of the commercial was if you used this particular shampoo, I was going to get rid of these horrible twigs you had in your hair, and you're going to have nice, neat. So in a sense, they defeated their own purpose, because the beauty of the whole thing was the woman with the fantastic twig headdress. And they try and pirate surrealism, but sometimes it doesn't always work the way they would like it to. And I'm glad of that.
I'm afraid that has been one of the critiques, that we have surrealism now, but it's all co-opted by the ad agencies.
Oh, they definitely try. Oh, I wanted to tell you that